Hello everyone, good morning. We are here at the Sachsenring, ready to go racing. And with me is a face that you all know, Mr. DTM, Bernd Schneider. Always good to see you here, Bernd. You saved my life earlier because I almost didn't make it here on time. Thank you for saving me. And anyway, Bernd, let's talk about the Sachsenring. I mean, it's pretty tricky, isn't it?
Absolutely, but it's one of the best circuits we have in Germany. So I think every racing driver looking forward for the Sachsenring race. The elevation change you have here with the fast corner combined by the slow corners, it makes just a lot of fun to be here and racing here. Also to watch, you know, yesterday in free practice I was around the track, see the drivers looking at different lines, the brakings, especially the fast corner over the hump over there. It's really impressive to see how the car coming over the hump and turning around the corner. So it's a nice place to be here.
It's an exciting racetrack. And in regards to the tires and the grip, how is that?
Yeah, yesterday was a bit tricky because it was pretty cold, and without the heaters, the tire heaters, it makes not so easy to get the tires in the right window. And here in Sachsenring, if you want to be, if you want to fight for pole positions, you have to get everything really together, and it was quite tricky yesterday. This morning it feels a bit warmer than yesterday, so maybe it's a bit easier. But anyway, you have to get everything together to fight for pole position.
Absolutely, and I know that Lukas Auer is going to give his best because he's the leader of the championship with 8 points ahead of Jack Aitken. And we all know, in regards to the title, if you want to win the title, you need to collect every single point, and it's starting with qualifying.
100%. I mean, in DTM is the most important thing is qualifying. If you're starting in the first, I would say 4 rows, you have a good chance to collect the big points. If you are not in top 10, it will be very difficult because after top 10, the drivers have to risk quite a lot on the start, and it's always a dangerous position to start behind top 10. So it's for Luki this year worked pretty well in qualifying, and I really cross my fingers because here in Sachsenring we have to collect big points, because then next race at Red Bull Ring will be a bit more difficult for the Mercedes. So I really hope that Mercedes can perform quite well here at Sachsenring.
But if I remember correctly, Luki likes the Sachsenring, right?
I think he likes the Sachsenring, like everybody does, but I think it's not one of his favorite from the success side. You know, he had some more success in some other racetracks. But yesterday he did very well, and he said the car felt great. But, you know, free practice is free practice. Today it's qualifying, and we saw sometimes big time changes. So I hope that Luki will be in the same shape than yesterday, and then we have a good chance to be in top 5 in qualifying.
All right, well, crossing our fingers for that. Last question, in regards to the weather, it's cloudy right now. Do you think that might play a role in today's race day?
I don't think so today, because the weather forecast was raining tonight, but there was no rain tonight. So I think it's done for the weekend, and it's also already, as I said before, a bit more warm. So that also means for Luki and Maro and our experienced guys, it doesn't matter because they know how to treat the tires. But for Tom Calendar, I think it's a bit easier now with the warmer conditions, and I cross also my fingers for him that he will get the qualifying together. Because, as I said before, if he starts in top 10, I think he's such a good racer that he can have a good chance to be on the podium, and this is what he needs in the last 6 races.
Yeah, only 6 more to go. So thank you so much, Bernd Schneider, our weatherman and, of course, DTM expert. Thank you so much. Have a good qualifying. And, of course, we're excited, looking forward to the qualifying. And I think Bernd said it all, but not enough, because now it's time for our commentators. Enjoy the qualifying.
Thanks very much, Verena. Good morning, everybody. Welcome then to the first qualifying session of the weekend. Fantastic to hear from Bernd Schneider there, a 5-time DTM champion, 43-time race winner, and one of only 3 drivers to successfully defend their championship title. And we've got 20 minutes of qualifying coming up to set the grid for the first race of the weekend. 6 qualifying sessions to go this season, 6 races to go this season, and only 8 points between the top 2 in the championship. Bernd Schneider, now the team principal at Landgraf, who are in their 2nd season of DTM. They came into it in 2023, had a year off last year, came back this year. Lukas Auer moved from the Windward team to Landgraf, and it has absolutely clicked for the Austrian driver. He leads the Drivers' Championship from Jack Aitken, who was one of the race winners here last year. There's Jules Gounon. Have it on good authority that Jules has got a new car for this weekend, which he tested in the official test day here on Sunday, and was quickest in the test session. So the car new to Jules Gounon for this weekend, and he looked pretty good and seemed pretty happy with how it was going yesterday when I spoke to him. René Rast, who was the most recent race winner in race 2 at the Nürburgring, he's up there in the top 4 in the championship. But this is a circuit where the BMWs traditionally have struggled. We're in the east of Germany, just about 20 kilometres from the city of Chemnitz and about 95 kilometres from Dresden. And this is an anti-clockwise circuit, 3.6 kilometres long. Hugely quick in the middle and at the end of the lap. Lots of undulations, including a famous steep rise, a big climb coming out of the last turn, turn 13. You can't even, as you see, come out of the last corner, see the start-finish line. You can't even see the start-finish straight because there's such a steep climb coming out of there. It's a roller coaster circuit. It's a fairly abrasive surface to the track. And that means two things for qualifying. Number one, the tyres warm up quicker. And we saw that yesterday. Jordan Pepper put new tyres on for free practice 1. And it only took a few laps to get the tyres up to temperature. And he put the best lap of the day in the end, in free practice 1, a 1:17.9. Jordan is 3rd in the championship for Grasser Racing Team. See a presentation there for Schubert Motorsport, who run the BMWs of René Rast, the 3-time champion, and the 2-time champion, Marco Wittmann. But because the surface is abrasive, it means it's tough on tyres. This is one of the venues, and sometimes you get 3 sets of new slicks, sometimes you get 4 sets of new slicks. This is one of the venues where you need 4. So 4 sets of new Pirellis to run across both qualifying sessions and both races over the next 2 days. The tyres will get up to temperature pretty quickly, but you might only be able to get 1 absolute flying lap out of them in qualifying. And it's not the easiest circuit to overtake on. So it's going to be a really crucial session for all of those drivers, particularly those gunning for the championship title. So a slight delay to the start of the session. I had a slight delay for the day getting underway. They're cleaning the track at the moment, and the cars will be on track in about 2.5 minutes' time for 20 minutes of qualifying. We're here at the circuit overlooking the pit lane. We can see 1 or 2 of the drivers getting into the cars and now being pushed out of the garages from where we are, directly opposite the start-finish line. And the temperature a bit cooler actually than it was for free practice yesterday. It's nearly 14 degrees. It was 16 degrees yesterday. It's about half the temperature it was here last year. And the track temperature coming into this qualifying session is just under 15 degrees. So from me, Chris Hartley, that's the introduction to the day. You've heard from Verena Vries in the pit lane. And the third voice that you're going to hear from today is alongside me. It's Brian Oliver. Good morning.
Good morning, Chris. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sachsenring, the Mini Nordschleife, one of the absolute highlights of the DTM calendar. Absolutely love coming here. It is such a unique circuit, often associated with motorcycle racing. There's a big crowd here taking selfies, enjoying what feels like a fairly autumnal day, if we're brutally honest about it, here in East Germany. The circuit, it's had many revisions over the year. The last was in 2001 by Hermann Tilke, the legendary circuit designer. But they've got it just right now, and as Chris has already mentioned, it is an absolute roller coaster. Lots of high-speed corners, lots of blind crests, lots to catch the drivers out. There's gravel traps that are very deep, designed to stop the cars. That's exactly what they do, but it means there's no room for error. We don't normally have track limits issues here at the Sachsenring because the track limits kind of define themselves. The only area where we have seen track limits, maybe turn 11 at the start of the steep downhill section that is nicknamed the Waterfall. Really, really exciting stuff. This is going to be a really interesting qualifying session, as we've already heard. Getting on the first couple of rows of the grid, really, really important here. It's going to be about tyres, about grid position. So we're getting ready. 30 seconds to go before this qualifying 1 session starts.
So with 5 weekends complete, 3 including this one to go, Luca Sauer for Team Landgraf, the Mercedes driver, former runner-up in the championship, leads the standings. He's got 137 points. Jack Aitken for Emil Frey Racing, who got Ferrari's first ever 1-2 finish when Jack Aitken and Ben Green finished first and second in race 1 at the Nürburgring. Jack second in the championship in his 3rd season. He's got 129 points, 8 behind Luca Sauer. And then in his first full season of the championship, Jordan Pepper, the South African for TGI Lamborghini team by Grasser Racing Team. He is 3rd, 15 points behind Luca Sauer on 122. René Rast, 4th on 117, only 20 points behind the championship leader. Thomas Preining, former champion, 115 points, 22 points behind the championship leader. And Maro Engel, who was in the running for the championship title all the way through last year, he's 6th in the title race at the moment, 114 points, but only 23 points adrift of the championship leader as the cars head out onto the circuit for the first time. In terms of the other championships, the Rookie of the Year championship is being led by Ben Durr. He's in his 2nd season at classes as a rookie for this championship. He's ahead of Maurice Skuring by 15 points. Tom Callender is 3rd. In the Manufacturers Championship, Mercedes lead that one from Porsche. There's a 40-point gap between them. Ferrari run in 3rd, Lamborghini run in 4th. Manthey lead the Teams Championship, but only by 12 points from Schubert, who run the BMWs and won the championship last year. And Winward are 3rd in the current Teams Championship. And the Pit Stop Challenge, where points are awarded for the fastest 3 pit stops in each race. Winward Racing lead that one, 21 points. Schubert have got 15, and Landgraf 3rd on 13 points. Yesterday, Jordan Pepper was quickest in free practice 1 minute 17.967 for the South African. Thomas Preining was 2nd quickest, having struggled with straight line speed at the Nürburgring, where he could only pick up a 9th and 10th place finish across the course of the weekend. Fabio Scherer put some new tyres on for both free practice sessions, we understand. He kept a set of new tyres and was 3rd quickest in the Mustang in that first session. Timo Glock was 4th quickest, and Mirko Bortolotti was 5th quickest in free practice 1, having had a pretty good test session here on Sunday as well. They reckon at Abt they have found an issue with the car that's been with Mirko's car all the way through the season, and he's much, much happier with it, the defending champion, who is looking for his first podium of the year. But Mirko will have a 5-place grid penalty for the first race of the weekend because he's picked up 3 warnings across the course of the season. And when you do that, you get a 5-place grid penalty, the most recent warning at the Nürburgring coming for an unsafe release. And then yesterday, Brian, quickest of all, and not for the first time this year on Friday, was Timo Glock in free practice 2 in the Durr Motorsport McLaren. A great effort from the 43-year-old.
Yeah, looking altogether more comfortable in that McLaren. I spoke to him very briefly last night, and he was being slightly reserved. He says, yes, it's good, but the points are earned on the Saturday. But certainly a lot of optimism, both for him and for Ben Durr. Certainly Durr Motorsport have taken a real leap forwards in terms of progress in DTM. Of course, last year, starting out as a new team, learning the ropes, learning performance pit stops. But this year, they really are getting up to speed, quick pit stops. And with Timo Glock on board, bringing his expertise as well, it seems to have really pulled the team together as we look again there at the championship standings. Cars out on circuit at the moment, circulating very slowly, as is often customary in DTM. A lot of the cars coming out, doing a formation lap, then coming back into the pits to allow the heat from the brakes to soak into the tyres. So we're not likely to see anything too competitive in terms of lap times for the next few minutes. But in the second half of this qualifying session, it's going to get quite busy out on track.
There's not a great deal of past data to go by in terms of predicting which cars, which teams might be more strong or not as strong around this circuit, because we raced here last year, we raced here in 2023, but before that, there'd been a 21-year gap between the DTM coming here to the Sachsenring. So we've had 4 recent DTM races, all in the GT3 era. 2 wins for Mercedes, both for Lucas Stoltz, no longer in the championship. 1 win for Jack Aitken over the last 2 years in the Ferrari. And Mirko Bortolotti, a winner in the SSR Performance Lamborghini as well. In terms of what happened last year, Jack Aitken was a race winner here, as I said, in the Ferrari. His teammate, Thierry Vermeulen, led having got pole position for the Sunday race, and only really fell short of winning his first DTM race because of a pit stop infringement, which caused him to have a penalty. So the Ferraris you would expect to be strong here. At the Sachsenring last year, Thomas Preining was on pole position for the Saturday. Thierry Vermeulen got pole position for the Sunday. So looking good already this weekend is Thomas Preining. And then in race 1, Jack Aitken finished second, Mirko Bortolotti finished third in race 2. Sorry, that was in qualifying. They were second and third in qualifying 2. Thierry Vermeulen was fastest. Kelvin van der Linde in the Audi was second quickest. And last year, Lucas Stoltz in the Mercedes was third quickest in the qualifying session. BMWs, we know, haven't traditionally gone well here and struggled in the test on Sunday, which they all took part in. The quickest driver in that test was Jules Gounon, who was speaking to him yesterday when he was busy polishing the rear wing of his car, and said to me, if you look after her, she'll look after me. Busy doing the mechanics role. Yeah, as I say, the news that has come through is that he's got a new car for the weekend, and it's looking good.
Engine, we will skate you into the box, and we try to fix it as fast as possible.
Oh, so having had a good Friday, Timo Glock with an issue.
Yes, didn't quite pick up what that was, but certainly that's not the kind of start to the weekend they're looking for. His teammate, Ben Dawes, just peeled off into the pits, as has Ayenchan Nguyen. So, with 14 minutes remaining, there are no cars out on track. Having said that, I could just see a car in the pit lane at the moment. Is that one coming in or going out? That might be Ben Dawes coming in. But yeah, yesterday, I think the Lamborghinis, on the whole, certainly the Grasser Lamborghinis in particular, were looking very strong, weren't they? Jordan Pepper. The Ferraris, Emil Frey Racing, maybe just holding back a little in FP2. They were looking very quick in FP1, maybe not wanting to show their hand too early. Certainly Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Mercedes looking stronger. You've already mentioned BMW, Schubert Motorsport, have described Sachsenring as a fear track. I can't believe that Schubert Motorsport are fearful of anything, but their payback will come at the Red Bull Ring, which really is a strong circuit for the BMWs. But it feels like they are in damage limitation mode already. I can't believe that with Schubert Motorsport. We'll see what does happen. But there's been no BOP changes I'm aware of since yesterday. So maybe that car there, maybe Jordan Pepper. I think those are the contenders for pole position.
One thing to note is that the Ferraris have got less boost than they had at this event last year with this year's BOP. So we'll see what difference that makes. There's Maro Engel. We've got, by the way, onboard cameras on all of the top 6 competitors in the championship for this weekend. So we'll get some great views of the action. Right, while it's quiet on track, let's go down to Verena in the pit lane.
And I'm here in front of the car of Maximilian Paul, and I'm here with his dad, who is the motorsport director, Tobias Paul. And let me just ask him in German and I will translate. Wir machen jetzt ja ein bisschen ruhiger, das Qualifying, alle nehmen sich immer ein bisschen die Zeit. Erklären Sie mal kurz, warum.
Ja, wir fahren ja hier mit ungeheizten Reifen, mit kalten Reifen, und dann versucht man natürlich die Reifen aufzuheizen und eine gewisse Prozedur dem Reifen zu geben, damit der dann perfekt arbeitet im Quali.
So basically the reason why we have some more time right now is because the qualifying starts with unheated tires, and now obviously they're trying to heat the tires, and then now they're going to wait a little bit, and then hopefully they're going to get the right setup done. And you're the dad of Maximilian, and tell us how tricky is the Sachsenring? Wie kann man das sagen? Wie schwierig ist der Sachsenring auch für Ihren Sohn?
Ja, der Sachsenring ist fahrtechnisch schon mal schwierig, und er hat einen speziellen Asphalt. Das ist dann schon schwierig. Zudem hier wirklich recht wenig testen, weil wegen der Lautstärke hier wenig getestet wird.
It's a tricky racetrack. We've heard that before, and obviously also because it's so loud, you can't test that much. So obviously for Maxi, it's also going to be tough, just like for everybody else. And last question, it's your home race. So what are you hoping for here? Es ist ja Ihr Heimrennen. Also was hoffen Sie, was Sie dieses Wochenende erreichen können?
Ja, wir hoffen natürlich auf eine gute Position, dass wir ein gutes Qualifying machen können, dass wir eine gute Startposition haben, dass wir unsere vielen Fans und Freunde, die alle hier sind, glücklich machen können.
Schön, und sich selbst hoffentlich auch. Wir drücken die Daumen. Vielen herzlichen Dank, Herr Paul. So obviously they're hoping that they can do really well here at their home race at the Sachsenring, and we're all crossing our fingers. So back to you.
Thanks, Verena. Tobias there giving us input into why we have to wait for the cars to get out there and hit this perfect window.
Did not change, same as FP1, same direction. Tailwind 1 and 7, headwind 9, 10, 11, same intensity, focus.
Very scientific, isn't it? I mean, they don't look at track temperature and air temperature alone. They're looking at the wind direction, how it affects which direction it's coming in each corner. All the information they give the drivers to help them hit the apex, hit the racing lines. But yeah, great to hear from Tobias Powell there. Powell Motorsport in their second season of the DTM, basically the smallest team on the grid, a family-run team. Tobias has been working with his son since they came through karting. They never dreamed they'd end up running a DTM team one day. And yeah, they're based in Dresden, so this is classed as one of their home circuits. Their nearest circuit is the Lausitzring. And they had a fabulous run at Zandvoort, didn't they, Brian, earlier this season, picking up their first, as a team, their first podium in the DTM.
Yeah, and that really felt like a win to them. It's great to see the little minnows competing. Don't be rude, but the minnows, the smaller teams competing with the bigger teams. Of course, they've also got a team in GT Masters as well, as if that wasn't enough. I noticed that both the Landgraf cars are under investigation for speeding in the pits. I wonder if there's been a software issue there. Tom Callender and Lucas Auer have been flagged as potentially speeding in the pits. So it's unusual for both cars in the same team to be clocked. So maybe an issue there with the software. As Fabio Scherer, right, cars now starting to pull out into the pit. Well, certainly a couple of them. There's Fabio Scherer on the move. There's Ben Dewar being pushed back into the pit lane. So we are well over the halfway point of qualifying. We have no representative times whatsoever on the board, but Fabio Scherer has decided that this crowd that have been here since early this morning, they are stacked up on the roof of the paddock garages, now are going to be entertained. Fabio Scherer first out. I can also see Maurice Schuring coming past the box. There's a Come To You, Aston Martin as well. So now, finally, things are getting going. 8 3/4 minutes remaining. Hold on to your hats. It's going to get noisy. It's going to get exciting.
Yeah, no lap time set whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, Brian and I are actually 25th and 26th on the grid at the moment. But it's the quiet before the storm. It's all going to kick off. There is Max Powell. You heard from his dad. Max, a race winner when he guested for Grasser Racing in 2023 at the Nürburgring. 14th on the grid. He won the race in the wet. So Max now heads out. Interestingly, speaking to Max, as a smaller team, you have to consider all of your costs and budgets. They've got some real talented people there, but he said even down to the tools, it costs a lot of money to put the tools together for these race teams, and sometimes you have to adapt and kind of create your own tools and make your own way to save money, to keep the money for the really big things that you need to compete. So it's a great story. We'll see how Max gets on. You're right about the BMWs. They were only 13th and 16th in the test on Sunday, although René Rast has said the car felt better yesterday than it did on the Sunday test. So we'll see how they get on. But more cars heading out onto the track now. They're all on the Pirelli tyre, slick tyre, DHG slick tyre. And that's a new compound that's come in this year to replace what was used previously, the DHF compound. And they're all made from FSC certified rubber, which means it's natural rubber that's comes from responsibly managed forests to try and keep the sustainability of the championship as high as possible. The cars also run on synthetic fuels these days, and we've got qualifying now starting to get underway in earnest. So the qualifying lap record around here, just for a pointer, I don't know if we'll get there today, but it's a 1:17.199 set by Thomas Preining on his way to pole last year. So a low 1:17. The best we've had so far in free practice is a high 1:17, as I said, from Jordan Pepper in free practice 1. And the qualifying lap record, we'll see if they get anywhere near that. I'd say the conditions are pretty good because it's warm enough, and we've had enough cars going around yesterday that circuit should have gripped up. They've cleaned the circuit. That's always an issue here because cars run wide, bring gravel back on. There's lots and lots of marbles off the circuit. Walked around it last night and off the racing line. There was absolutely stacks through this first sector of rubber balls where the tyres have been degraded off the racing line. So if you just run slightly offline when it's like that, it sends you wide. Also, it takes ages, I'm told by Arjamani, to get rid of those spare balls of rubber off these Pirelli tyres. So it can ruin your push lap if you go onto them on your out laps. So they've got to be very, very careful. You should get one really good lap out of the tyres around this circuit, maybe two, but I don't think any more than two. So 6 minutes basically of qualifying to see who is going to be on pole position. We've had 7 different pole sitters so far this year, 6 different drivers have won races, and 14 different drivers have been on the podium. And it's going to be another wide open session, Brian.
I'll tell you what, all the cars have been out for 2 or 3 laps, with the exception of Timo Glock. We know he may have had an issue. There he is there, just coming out the track. But also, Lucas Auer has only just pulled out of the pit lane, so he's leaving it really late in the session. It'll take a couple of laps to get the tyres into the window, so the build laps, and then when the teams and the driver are confident the tyres are at the right temperature, it'll be the push lap. But I think Lucas Auer's attempt for pole position is going to come very late in the session, because he's about 2 to 3 laps behind everybody else. So all bar those 2 cars have been out on track, building the temperature. It's a bit of Russian roulette, really, because you only need to get a red flag with maybe 2 minutes to go of the session, and you're not going to have an opportunity to put in a quick time. At the moment, Maurice Schuring is quickest at 1:20.943. We're expecting certainly a couple, 2 or 3 seconds off that time as this session progresses. You can see purple in sector 1, purple in sector 2, so he's continuing to improve. So maybe the first to pull the pin is Maurice Schuring, who's coming round in sector 3 now, out of the final corner, out onto the pit straight. Straight's about 700 metres long, crosses the line, and it's Thomas Preining, his teammate at Manthey EMA, who goes to the top at 1:20.143.
Yeah, should still be a lot more to come. They've really got to be looking to get into, at least I would say, the low 118s, probably ducking into the 117s. Remember as well, 3 points for the championship if you get pole position, 2 points if you qualify second, a point for third. The top 3 from the previous race have to carry success ballast, but not in qualifying, only in the race. So that's going to make life even more difficult for the BMWs, because they were first and second, René Rast and Marco Wittmann, in race 2 at the Nürburgring. So René will have 20 kilograms of success ballast for the race. Marco will have 10, and third in the race was the championship leader, Lucas Auer. So he'll have 5 kilograms of success ballast to take around in race 1 later on. Right, a 39.978 for Thomas Preining, the absolute best first sector so far. Fabio Scherer is quickest for now, though, with a 1:17.522, which is a good effort. So he's the first into the 117s. The second into the 117s is Ben Durr with a 1:17.592. Thomas Preining actually a couple of tenths down in that middle sector compared to the absolute best. What does he do as he crumbs across the line? He does enough to go to the top of the times, 1:17.313. So he's within a couple of tenths now of his own lap record from last year.
So 3 minutes remaining. It's all going to happen now. Unbelievably, there are 5 cars under investigation for speeding in the pits. The aforementioned Lucas Auer, Tom Callender, Jordan Pepper, Mirko Bortolotti, Luca Engstler, all under investigation for speeding in the pit lanes. Quite unusual to have that many, but continuing to improve. Ben Green goes to the top, first into the 16, so 1:16.997. What did we say about the Emil Frey Racing Ferraris?
And here comes Jordan Pepper over the line to go to the top of the times, even quicker, 1:16.826. The lap record has been broken twice now in the last 10 seconds. Pepper on pole, Green second, Luca Engstler's just behind his teammate on the road, has gone third quickest as well with a 1:17.154. There is Gottfried Grasser, middle of the picture, who runs the Austrian team, GRT, that run these 2 Lamborghinis, and Jordan Pepper at the circuit where he made his DTM debut as a guest driver last season, got points in his first ever drive in the DTM. He's back at the Sachsenring. He's got the advantage of finally being able to know a circuit that he's driven this car in the previous year, and he's making it count. Fastest for now, Green second, Engstler, Pepper's teammate third. Maro Engel has gone fourth in the Mercedes, but Jules Gounon with his new chassis has set the absolute best middle sector. So the French driver based in Andorra comes through and goes second quickest, just a tenth away, and Timo Glock, Brian, is on a flyer.
Timo Glock, quickest of anybody in Sector 2. So whatever the issue was, they've sorted that. He's into Sector 3 now, so we should see him coming out of that final corner. Here he comes out to stop the clock. So is Timo Glock going to go top? He goes up to not quite up there, so back down, yes. So maybe still building the temperature in that car. He was later out of the pits than anybody else.
Yeah, but he's got the potential, hasn't he, as he saved the tyres to have another push at this, but it's a really impressive first 2/3 of the lap for him. So the Lamborghini of Pepper is quickest by just over 1/10 of a second. Also in the 1/16, Gounon in second, Green in third. Ben Green has unlocked something the last couple of meetings, hasn't he? Got his first ever podium last time out, was 4th on the grid last time out, and was disappointed not to be on pole, and he's fighting for pole position again. Exler is 4th, and Jack Aitken, 2nd in the championship, has popped up to 5th place now in the 2nd of the Ferraris. Maro Engel 6th, Thierry Vermeulen on pole here last year, 7th, so 3 Ferraris in the top 7. Preining 8th, Gouin 9th, Auer at the moment back in 10th place. Jules Gounon we are following here, but he's not up on his own sector times, and he's certainly not up on the absolute bests. Lucas Auer, though, is pushing. He's done a personal best first sector. He's 4/10 down in that first sector, though, and he's 2/10 down on the absolute best second sector, so he only comes home in 5th place. 18 seconds left on the clock.
So the clock ticking down. When the clock strikes 0, cars that are still on the lap, it will still count. Ben Green hasn't improved in either of the first 2 sectors, so this is not going to be an improvement on 3rd place for him. He remains in that 3rd place. Jordan Pepper is the benchmark, a 1:16.826. I can't see anybody improving on them at the moment out on track. The checkered flag is out, so it's looking pretty solid for Jordan Pepper at the moment.
Yes, indeed, and the checkered flag comes out. Nobody, as you say, pushing on. It looks notably like they're going to move up the order, and that would be the 3rd pole position of the season then, in an outstanding debut season for Jordan Pepper. Also, crucially, 3 championship points. That will move Jordan, if it stays like this, onto 125, and that would move him to within 12 points of the championship leader, Timo Glock. What might have been, because that lap was looking really good until the very final sector, and now that maybe he's used up too much of the tyres, he's going to try and get up the order. He's 14th currently, but he's not improving sector times of 40.9. He's actually 9/10 down on the absolute best first sector time, so I'm not sure he's going to get any higher up the order than he is, but things certainly looking more promising for Timo. His teammate, Ben Durr, only in 18th place, which, given how well Ben has been going this year, is a bit of a shock, isn't it?
Interesting for Timo Glock, he set that purple sector and he set a personal best, and on the 3rd sector he's been shown a black and white flag for driving unnecessarily slowly in the 3rd sector, and that was on that lap where it looks like he might have been somewhere near the top of the time screens. Yeah,
and you've got to be careful, because Sven Stopper, the race director, brought in a rule at the Nürburgring to try and prevent drivers getting blocked and held up. And the rule that came in, that has stuck now for the rest of the season, we're told, is that if you are deemed to be driving too slowly, then you will get a warning, and it could be a warning that will add to your 3 warnings that you get, and then basically a grid penalty as well. So to try and stop that, they brought that rule in. Jules Gounon congratulates Jordan Pepper. They're the top 2. Jules in the background there, 2nd on the grid. Much, much happier with the way the car is working for him now. But Jordan Pepper, 3rd pole position of the season. He started yesterday, top of the times. He starts Saturday, top of the times. Scores 3 championship points, 2 points coming for Jules Gounon, and a great effort for Ben Green, qualifying in 3rd place. They are the top 3 qualifiers, and they are all in the 1:16. So Ben Green gets his best qualifying so far, also gets a championship point for that. Luca Engstler has qualified 4th. 5th place, Lucas Auer, not too far away for the championship leader, but he's got those 5 kilograms of success ballast for the race after his podium at the Nürburgring. Jack Aitken, his nearest rival in the championship, will be right alongside him on the grid. They're going to be 5th and 6th on the grid for the race this afternoon. Maro Engel, 7th, ahead of his 40th birthday, which is coming up on Wednesday. Sorry for mentioning that, Maro. Thierry Vermeulen is 8th on the grid. Thomas Preining, I think, will be pretty disappointed to be back in 9th place on the grid. It looked strong yesterday. Anjan Gu and his teammate rounds out the top 10. We didn't see much of him, but Gilles Magnus with another positive qualifying session in the Aston Martin. 11th place, Marco Wittmann 12th, probably about as good as he feels he could get that car. Nicky Tim 13th, Timo Glock 14th, Rennie Rast 4th in the championship, back in 15th place, Brian, and with 20 kilograms of success ballast to lug around. And that extra weight on a track which is hard on the tyres is really going to be difficult for him, isn't it?
Yeah, that's going to be quite significant, as you say, on a track that is high on tyre degradation. You also mentioned Thomas Preining in 9th. He'd be disappointed with that. Well, Mauro Engel is under investigation for potentially blocking him in turn 13. That might be a reason why he is so far back. But what a season Jordan Pepper's having. And Ben Green into that 3rd place. What a great job from him.
Absolutely right. Now, one team that we really didn't see at all in that session or talk about was Abt. The 2 Lamborghinis looked really good yesterday. 5th in both free practice sessions for Mirko Bortolotti. They were both in the top 10. Nicky Tim and Mirko in the 2 free practice sessions. They were both in the top 10 in the test here on Sunday, but they're not in the top 10 on Saturday. Nicky Tim 13th on the grid. Mirko Bortolotti 17th quickest. But he'll start 22nd on the grid with his 5th-place penalty. Right, let's get some reaction to that qualifying session with Verena.
And I'm here with Ben Green, P3, so that's a great result for you. Anything's possible in the race, obviously, but I think you're upset about one little moment at the qualifying?
No, it's okay. I mean, P3 is a great place to be. I think it's certainly higher than we expected to be compared to yesterday. But yeah, I mean, the rules we have about not slowing down in the last sector and then people are going slow near the racing line when you're on your quickest lap, it's a bit frustrating. But yeah, good to be up the front of the grid and in the fight for the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Ben. Back to you.
Thanks very much. You're in a good spot, aren't you, when you're slightly disappointed to be 3rd. That's the kind of character that Ben is, though. He's a winner. He's a DTM trophy champion. He's been a race winner in GT Masters, and he wants to go for wins and pole positions, even though he is basically a rookie in the championship this season. More from Verena down in the pits.
And I'm here with Jordan Pepper. It was looking good yesterday for you, and it's looking fantastic for you today because you got your 3rd pole position this season. So you must be really excited about that.
Yeah, super ecstatic. I mean, a lot of questioning for sure went overnight. I mean, we had an advantage yesterday for sure, capitalizing on a bad Zandvoort weekend where we saved an extra set of tires for yesterday, and it paid off. The car was unbelievable. It's by far the best car I've driven maybe ever. It was incredible, the grip that I had. It was about execution, and yeah, really cool. And I was speaking last night actually on Instagram, funnily enough, with Ben and Jules, and we ended up top 3, so it's quite cool. I said to Jules, maybe a front row lockout. He looked strong yesterday, so it's quite funny, but just happy and proud of the team. Huge thanks to them, because yeah, we get the joy to do the 1 minute 16 lap, and they put in all the hours to make it happen.
Sounds fantastic, great car. And obviously starting from pole position and the car feels so fantastic, you have a great feeling for the race.
Yeah, race is a different story here with the tire management and stuff, but we put ourselves in a good position and good points for the championship, and that's all we can do on the Saturday morning, and the rest, yeah, it's not up to us.
Well, thank you so much, Jordan. Back to you.
Thanks, Verena. Outstanding effort then from Jordan and from the Grasser Racing team. How about that? Best car I've ever driven, possibly, he says. So don't touch it, guys. Leave it as it is. It's working a treat. It should be pretty similar conditions for the race this afternoon. And on pole position, Brian, you're in a good spot here at the Sachsenring because, as I say, not the easiest place to overtake. So the race coming up at 1:30 this afternoon from Brian Oliver and me, Chris Hartley, in the commentary box. That's it for qualifying. And back down to Verena.
And in P2 is Jules Gonon, so I guess that feels good for the race.
Good. You know, you're a racing driver, so you are never happy. My girlfriend could tell you that, but fuck, I thought it would be lap 2, so I kind of underdrove a little bit lap 1 to be conservative and really go for all-in lap 2, but actually it was lap 1, so I'm just a bit frustrated that I didn't went all-in for lap 1. But P2 is amazing. My guys have been working so hard since the beginning of the season. We were struggling with issues we could not understand. We finally understood them before the Sachsenring test. The car feels so much better. So thanks to AMG and Winward to pushing really hard to sort me out, and now we are there. So I hope we can have a good race.
I was just going to say, coming from P2, I mean, you can make it a very good race.
I hope so. It's funny, you know, I'm side by side by Jordan. This morning he sent me a text on Instagram. He said, let's do a front row lockout, and we are both there. So we were teammates in the past. We have great respect for each other. So it's always harder to fight somebody you like because you need to be a bit kindness. But we'll try. I have a good crew for the pit stop. We have a good car. Finger crossed, and let's see what we can do.
All right, Jules. Bonne chance. Thank you so much. And yeah, we're looking forward to a fantastic race in just a little bit. So here are the highlights, and see you later. Bye-bye.